Here we go. Greetings. My name is Sabrina Lowery. Welcome to Geek Talk, where we give entrepreneurs expert knowledge. I am the Chief Technology Officer and founder of Sabrina Lowery Enterprises and the qualifying broker of Legacy Realty and Management, located here in Atlanta, Georgia. If you would like to connect with me, please go to sabrinalowery.com. Tonight's episode is extra special. I am bringing one of my number one collaborators to you, and we are going to have a really intense conversation, spill the tea, and of course, drop those gems for the entrepreneurs. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take this opportunity to invite you to comment where you're tuning in from. And if you have any questions for our guests along the episode, be sure to drop them in the chat. You never know who might show up and answer for you. So, let's move right into our conversation. And I want you to take a moment and share this broadcast and be sure to follow us on YouTube. Also, I want you to connect with me on Instagram at Sabrina Lowery and be sure that you follow our guests so that you can get connected. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you our first guest. We are here with a very special lady by the name of Joi Stokes. Excuse me, Joi Pearson. I want to welcome her all the way from Hampton, Virginia, a native, a graduate of Hampton University in marketing, built a successful career as a corporate and studio photographer, media personality, and the inventor and creator of the joystick, a live streaming tool. She is certified in women's entrepreneurship from Cornell University and a certified minority business enterprise and the President's Lifetime Achievement Award recipient, who now channels her creativity in Red Eagle Books and helps entrepreneurs launch and grow their brands. Her ultimate vision is the Pearson Academy, empowering creatives to turn talent into lasting, profitable legacies. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's give a virtual clap to Joi Pearson.
Hello. How are you? How are you, Sabrina? You look so pretty.
Thank you. So do you. I
Thank
can't
you.
believe how long it's been. We all got new appearances around here.
What
Yes?
you tell it? Most
Yes.
definitely.
Yes. So I want to take a pause for the cause and let
Okay.
everyone know we are live on YouTube, on Instagram. We are live on the YouTube channel. Follow me, Sabrina Lowery Tech, and on LinkedIn. So if you want to catch the video portion and see us at work, come on into the studio and see us with tonight's broadcast. And if you can't stay for the entire episode, no worries. You will find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. So all you got to do is Google your girl, Sabrina Lowery, and be sure to follow Geek Talk. So let's go ahead and have Joi come to the stage and tell the people something that they might not know about you.
Hmm. Something that they might not know about me. So my name is Joy Pearson. You just mentioned that I was born and raised in Hampton, Virginia. My mother is Filipino. My father is Black. Something they might not know about me. I graduated from high school in 3 years. And I love to paint. I love to write. And I have a poetry book that you can purchase on Amazon.
Awesome, Joy. And so I want to give a shout out. We've got Murphy Loans in the house, DJ Yogi, Mrs. Tammy Tanksley is in the building. We're bringing audiences from all over the globe tonight, Joy. So I want you to
Yay.
just say hello to the people. Make sure that you all are
Hello.
reposting this broadcast live. And if you have a question for my special guest, Joy, you can follow her on Instagram, the letter U, bring me joy. Follow you, bring me joy on Instagram. So you can also connect with Joy at it's joi.com. So we're going to jump right into the conversation because we've got a lot of catching up to do. And I want the audience to hear about what are you doing these days? It's been a minute since we've been putting the show on the road. So tell our audience what you're up to these days.
My computer was about to die. Oh no. Okay. So, what have I been up to? Well, I took a pause from life, um, as far as social media and posting. I think I took about a maybe like a 6 or 7 month sabbatical. I just literally got back on in July of this year. I've been really working hard renovating my childhood home here in Hampton. I've learned how to use a chainsaw. I've learned how to paint cabinets. I've learned how to um, use a brad nailer and change out floors. Like it's been a whole project here, doing a bunch of stuff at the house, DIY stuff, and I've really, really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for that, Joy. I am bringing everybody into the broadcast as we speak.
Yes,
I want
ma'am.
everyone to be sure that you are following us across all the social platforms where we are bringing this live tonight. And Joy, I love that your creativity shines through in some of the hard work, right? Some of those non-traditional careers that they normally wouldn't expect a woman to be doing some hard labor, but I love it that you get down and dirty, right? And so when you moved back to Virginia and you talked about bringing your childhood home back to life, what was it that you felt in your spirit that you wanted to bring to life for you and your family there? Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a brief pause. We have to bring our guest back in. I think her device went dead. She was trying to get that thing back going. So just bear with us for a moment. If you have any questions, I want you to be sure to drop those comments for me so that I can see where you're tuning in from. And as soon as our guest gets back, we will bring her back on stage. And so, what I'll do for this moment is play a little infomercial. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a very nice infomercial just to share with you a little bit about our special guest, Joy Pearson, who is joining us as our guest this evening. And just as soon as we are able to bring her back to the stage, there she is, we will continue our conversation. So, Joy, thank you and welcome back.
Thank you. You gotta love. I just was saying, oh, the devil is out tonight. He don't want this message to get out. My computer
Exactly.
was fully charged, and then all of a sudden it said that it was going dead.
Oh,
We haven't even been talking for 10 minutes.
and
Mm,
that's what happens in the
mhm.
real world, right?
Exactly.
And that's
Exactly.
what I love about doing this podcast live is that we
Hmm.
truly have to deal with real life scenarios. And sometimes there's power outages, whether it's from a natural disaster or a natural cause, or if it's
Exactly.
just the devil being busy. So let's just
Exactly.
shift our conversation because what I just did for our audience while you were away was
Hmm.
play your video ad. And
Oh, nice.
yes, so we took a moment to see some of the features that you have. And while I have you on stage, I'm going to mute the video and then let you just talk over what the audience is seeing. Okay,
Okay,
here
sure.
we go.
So
The
this
floor is
is
yours.
Sabrina's discount code. This is my newest book, How to Prepare for the Inevitable. I also have it right here. What a great headshot. We can talk a little bit more about this. These are the two children's books that my daughter and my son have written. This is me doing real estate photography, which is one of the beautiful things I've done with Sabrina. These are some headshots that I have taken over my career and some family portraits. And you can see Sabrina's little grandbaby down there. And then my website, it's joy.com, where you can find
Awesome.
everything joy.
Everything joy, ladies and gentlemen. So, thank you again for tuning in this evening while we have our very special guest, Joy Pearson, here in the studio with us. And we're talking about legacy.
Yes,
That is
ma'am.
our conversation this evening because Joy and I, both being parents, we have also lost parents. And there is a transition, not just personally, but professionally. So,
Mm.
Joy, let's dive right into what did 2025 look like for you?
Mm. Um, it started off great. If I must say, it started off great. We had just moved back to Hampton. We meaning me, my mom, and my daughter. We started doing the renovations at the beginning of the year. Everybody was in good health. Eventually, my mom ended up catching the flu, pneumonia, and she caught a UTI. So they were surprised that she actually was able to recover from that. She had been in the hospital for about 2 weeks, and then we brought her home. When we brought her home, we brought her home on hospice, and she celebrated her 83rd birthday in May. She celebrated another Mother's Day, and then she transitioned on the 9th of June. And since we're talking about legacy, I'm just thankful for everything that my mother and my father taught me in my lifetime, so that I was able to get on creating legacy way before they got older. I feel like my parents taught me about legacy so early on that when I was probably selling candy in school, in elementary school, I was already thinking of it, not knowing that I was thinking of it.
And so that is again something we have in common is the fact that we've basically been born with a genetic entrepreneurial DNA. Okay.
Mhm.
And, when you talk about the mindset and the journey of an entrepreneur, some of us, it's just in our blood, while others train to be great. Right.
Mhm.
So, in, and first of all, I am sending my deepest condolences for the loss of mom. As you know, Amelia was super special to me and my family, and
Yes,
we
ma'am.
have so many memories together. I think about her all the time, and I'm praying with you, sis, that you get your strength and your resilience to push through this pivot, okay? Because that's all it is. It's
Mm.
a pivot. So, as we're talking about legacy, and then we think about that word pivot, tell the audience what are the top three things that you've done in the past few months since the loss of your mother that is helping you pivot? Because I know you're still going through.
Right. I think the number one thing that has helped me pivot was when you are dealing with a parent who doesn't pass away suddenly. You're grieving as they're getting older, and so one of the things that I started to do with mom was I started to like record her as I was interviewing her. So I would ask her questions about her childhood. I asked her questions, her favorite memories, questions about her parents, how she was raised. What does she, what stood out about how she was raised? What stood out about how she raised me and my brother? And so, after she passed, I had quite a few people reach out to me because, and as Tara mentioned, we're in this generation called the pancake generation. So we're taking care of our kids, but we're also taking care of our parents. And so what I realized was as I was getting a lot of condolences, I was also getting, I'm having to deal with this with my mom. I'm having to deal with this with my dad. What do I do? And I started talking to them and giving them some advice and giving them some pointers and some steps that I went through with helping mom, just starting to make sure that, I wasn't just, a beneficiary on her bank account. You have to actually be a joint member on their bank account to be able to have all of the perks after they pass away. Beneficiary just allows you to do certain things, right? And so as I was starting to give all this advice out, I started to realize that I had a book in me. And so again, that's how I wrote How to Prepare for the Inevitable. It's a compassionate journal for preparing for the transition of a parent or a loved one. And so right now, I just released it in December. Right now, I'm really focused on, making sure as many people as possible get their hands on this book because, a lot of times we assume that death comes because we're older, and really death comes to all of us whenever God's ready to call us home. And so I want us to be prepared. I don't want us to think that thinking about preparing is morbid. I don't want people to think, "Oh, I can't do that because then I'm wishing death on my family members or my loved ones." Like that's not necessarily the right way to look at it. You're looking at it from the viewpoint of I'm putting these steps into place so then when it does happen, I'm not grieving and trying to plan a funeral at the same time. I'm not grieving and trying to prepare a repast. I'm not grieving and doing something else. You can just grieve. And that was one of the reasons why I wrote it. So right now I'm really focused on getting this book out. I think one of the other things that you asked me was what else have I been working on in the pivot. The house was actually deeded to me after my mom passed away, and so right now I want to do my due diligence to make sure that one, I keep the house in our family name, and two, that I use it to help us create generational wealth.
Thank you so much, Joy. That is amazing. And it is what helps that resilience and the perseverance for you to push through while you're pivoting, right? So
Mhm.
I want to take us back. Let's take a little reunion, right? And let's go back to about 8 years ago. eight
Okay.
years ago would put us right around that 2018 mark.
Okay.
We were
Uh,
the collaborators, right?
yes, me, you, and Dr. Kim.
Hey, Dr.
Me,
Kim
you, and
McNair.
Dr.
Shout out
Kim.
to Kim McNair Productions. She is doing
Amen.
amazing things also. And
Yes,
I want
ma'am.
to take a moment and just shout out our audience for tuning in live with us. And thank you so much for being here. We truly appreciate you. Hello and
Amen.
good evening, Kevin. So nice of you to join
Hello.
us. And thank you all so much for just tuning in and having this conversation and this dialogue with Joy Pearson and I, the collaborators, two of the three, right?
Two of the three. Yes, ma'am.
And so this would have been pre COVID activities, right?
Right.
And now we're in that post COVID, the mindset, the mission, and Lord have mercy, the world. Yes. And
Mm,
so I want us to talk about this legacy piece for our entrepreneurs because the geek talk is all about giving entrepreneurs our expert knowledge.
yes,
And
ma'am.
you talked about one piece of it with the succession, right? And the legacy piece and the beneficiaries and the wills and everything that you need to do to administer the loss of a loved one, especially a parent. What
Mhm.
I want to do is talk about that succession in business. Okay.
Mm,
You and I have both owned and sold and ended multiple businesses, yes, over the
yes, ma'am.
years.
Yes,
So I
ma'am.
would love for you to just share with our audience that story and that journey
Okay.
and how you started and how you got here.
Okay. Um, well, I would say that the first business that I started was in Atlanta. Uh, it was a candy store with one of my exes. It was in the mall. And it was successful for what it is. Most people don't go into the mall and say, "Oh, I can't wait to go get some gummy bears." It's one of those things that while you're in the mall, you walk past it and all of a sudden you realize that you want some chocolate covered gummy bears. And so, I think that one of the things that I appreciate about what we learned about that business is when you have a business in the mall, it's very different than when you operate a service or when you don't have a brick and mortar store. Unfortunately, we had to get rid of and sell that candy store because Cumberland Mall was going through some renovations. What the mall was back then is not what the mall is now. Our candy store is actually the H&M on the second floor. And so for us, we learned quite a lot about that business. But as our relationship ended, we knew that that part had to go as well too. And so I transitioned from that into a painting company. Unfortunately, I did not do my due diligence with learning more about the man and the woman that I went into business with. So they were the painters. I was the brains. I was the financial part of it. And unfortunately, because I didn't really know what I was doing, I did not put my business and everything that we bought in my business name. And so eventually I ended up having to file bankruptcy because I put everything in my personal name, which was probably the biggest fail, but also my biggest lesson. Uh, After that, that's when I started my photography business. My son was born in 2010. I started my photography business probably maybe a year before then, just taking photos at somebody's cookout. Thankfully, I can say that I've still have my photography business. I've never had to file bankruptcy again. I have, hit six figures with my photography business. I've traveled all over the world. I am now Getty certified, so I am a Getty Images contributor. I can also say that I went to the Hall of Fame with Allen Iverson. Um, which is huge. He actually graduated from the same high school that I graduated from, though he was older than me. So I can say that I've built a team. I have over 30 photographers on my team that are photographers and videographers. So if somebody was to reach out to me and say, "Hey, Joy, we would like photos in New York," though I can't make it to New York, I can hire somebody. And so one of the things that I realized that I needed to do, because one, I'm not going to want to take photos for the rest of my life. Two, there are uh, certain events that I don't want to be at my age of 45. I'm not taking photos in anybody's club. No, I'm not going to be out till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. My cutoff is 10, maybe 10:30 at the latest. And so I know that to continue to grow my business, I can offer younger males and females an opportunity that I didn't have when I was coming up in photography. And so that's what I've been able to do. And truth be told, that's the way that I'll be able to continue to build the legacy from my photography businesses.
Oh yes, we giving what them youngins call it. We clocking, right? We are clocking because that's a serious nugget. And I just want to take another pause for the cause and give a shout out all the way in New Jersey to my sister Rosa.
Hey,
Hey,
Rosa.
sis, love you. Thank you so much for tuning in to Geek Talk. And Joy, I had posted that lesson number one that you talked about, and that was never, ever, ever,
Yeah.
never handle your
Mm-mm-mm.
business in your personal name. So,
Mm-mm.
all right, geeks,
No,
that's us
not at all.
giving entrepreneurs expert knowledge. All
Not at
right.
all. Make sure you get your bit. Make sure that you mind the business that you're in.
Exactly.
Make sure you
Exactly.
mind the
And
business
and
you're in.
and let's just keep it short and sweet. Handle your business like a business, okay? That's where that
Exactly.
is. All right.
Exactly.
So I want to shift gears a little bit because we've got another tip that we've got to drop for the people as it relates to legacy creation, and that is in the form of books. And so
Oh yeah.
you mentioned that in your introduction, and
Mhm.
I really, really want you to talk to our audience about how many books you've written over the years. When I met you, you were a bestseller. So I love that we are both authors and we can take pen to paper, fingers to typewriter, and get the message out to our audiences. So, why don't you give our entrepreneurs some expert knowledge about building legacy through
Yes, ma'am.
writing books and
Yes,
selling
ma'am.
books?
Okay. I will say that for me, I can't even I can't even honestly remember what was the first book. I know that I reached a point in my life where every year for my birthday I wanted to do something extravagant. And so I started releasing like a book or a collaboration, an anthology, which if you guys think of any of the Chicken Soup for the Souls from back in the day, how each chapter was basically someone else's story, that's basically what an anthology is. And Sabrina has been in quite a few. And if I'm not mistaken, we're getting together in March in Maryland or DC for
Yes.
a book launch. Okay, right. So an anthology is a great way to become an author without becoming an author. A lot of times people have a message, but they're like, oh my goodness, how am I going to write 10 chapters? Well, it's not even necessarily about writing 10 chapters. One of the things again that I love about the anthology is if the topic or the title of the book is great, you know that you might be able to contribute one chapter. Pay to be a part of that. I did one with Lily May years ago, and the beautiful part was I was able to sell my own books. I was able to be an author and be a part with her. But then as she sold books as well too, I was able to get my message out as well. So I honestly, Sabrina, right offhand, I'm not sure how many books I've written. I do know that my baby right now, How to Prepare for the Inevitable, is one that I really cherish because I do know that so many people are so afraid of talking about death with their family members and their loved ones, and then the catch 22 is then it happens and now there's the GoFundMe to have to pay for the funeral, and we don't necessarily want us to be in that position. I will say this as well too. Once I started to realize that I wanted to write more, and not just for me, but for my kids, I never thought of being an author at the age of 5. I never would have even, I mean, I'm all about reading books, but I wanted to set my kids up. I thought that it was actually really really cool that someone could go to Amazon and type in Silas Stokes or type in Brenton Brooks and find books that they wrote. So me and Brenton wrote a journal together called 365 Reasons Why I Love You. And then I started a series for Sila called Sila and Friends. And now we're on our third book with Sila. And it was cute because one of her classmates actually brought the book to school and was like, "Hey, this is you." And so anyway, needless to say, that is a part of me legacy building. These words will never go away. You know, truth be told, Sabrina, I'm not sure whether or not you have ever thought about it, but you can go down to your local library and you could request that your book be in the library so that someone can check it out. So, it's not necessarily just about selling on Amazon or your own website or on, Barnes and Nobles or any of the platforms. It's about just getting the message out. However you have to do it. We all have at least minimum one book in us. And you're doing you and your family a disservice if you never write it.
All right, girl. Look, here we go. Lesson number 2. Write that book.
Write the book.
Okay. Let
Write
me
the
just
book.
go ahead and drop that in the chat for our Instagrammers. And that's legacy building right there. Thank you so much. My sister said, yes, honey, that's my goal is to write
Write the
that
book.
book. I know
Right.
you got about 15 books in you, sis. I'm just saying. Because I've heard the stories.
Right. And look, the beautiful thing is that she's got you and me to help her. So
Exactly.
so
That's
you
right.
so all you have to really do is, if anybody that's ever been around me long enough, if they say that they want to do something, I'm going to push you. I'm going to push you. I want you to walk into your greatness. I want you to be that light that whenever you walk into the room, people are like, "Oh my goodness," you're blinding them, because that's exactly what you should be doing, because we're all light. We're all light. God put us here for a reason. And again, you are doing yourself a disservice if you don't share the message. They say that the most millionaires and billionaires is in the cemetery because they died with what they should have gave to the world.
That's
So
right.
don't
That's
be
right.
that person.
Oh, so that leads me to my favorite quote, which I tell all of my clients and mentees around the world. I
Uh-huh.
got it from my business coach, Dr. Cheryl Wood. Shout out to Dr. Cheryl Wood, y'all, Global
Hey,
Speakers
Cheryl.
University alumni in the house. And she says, your audience is waiting on what you sitting on. So while
Ooh.
you sitting on your hands, not serving the people, they just waiting on
Mm.
you. So don't be stuck on stupid, y'all. Let's get out there and give the audience what they deserve. Okay.
Your audience is waiting for what you're sitting on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So we have time for another nugget. So I would like to shift gears and talk about some of our upcoming collaborations. Yes.
Woo-hoo. Let's do it.
All right, so I'm going to pull up this flyer for our Headshots and Handshakes networking event that is coming up on February 22nd, which was rescheduled from this Sunday, y'all, due to the snowstorms and ice storms in air quotes, because we
Right.
didn't see any of it in
Right.
our side of town here in the metro Atlanta area. But for
Not at
those that
all.
did suffer, we hope that everything is good now, that you are safe and you are blessed and that you are well. So,
Amen.
Joy, let's talk to the people.
Yes,
Tell
ma'am.
them what to expect
Okay.
with the headshots package.
Okay. So for headshots and handshakes, it's going to be a networking event, but most importantly, we're at the beginning of the year, guys. And you can look at this flyer right now and see that those two girls that's on that flyer are not the two women that are talking to you live right now. So I say that all to say that everybody needs to make sure that they have an updated headshot. If you are in business, if you are serious about your business, if you want to go into business because you're not sure just yet, this is an event that you need to come to. $75, and you will receive 4 high resolution retouches. Truth be told, guys, for me, that's a steal. Like a huge steal. A huge steal. I mean, it should be more and you should get less. But I'm thinking about all of my people that I know that needs a new headshot. And I want you guys to come out. I want you to hang out with us. I want you to collaborate with me and Sabrina. I want you to talk and network with some of the other women and men and children. I actually have a friend of mine whose daughter is he's planning on getting his daughter some headshots. Look, these kids got to start helping to pay for their way. So if you have a child that is talented, you would be doing yourself another disservice by not taking advantage of that talent. And so if it is a child that loves to act or has an amazing voice and could do voiceovers for cartoons or could read a book and get paid to do that or whatever, make sure that you do that. I was just talking this past weekend with my ex Sila's dad, and Sila loves to paint, and we would be doing a disservice by not allowing her to thrive in that and not allowing people to buy her paintings. But Sila needs a headshot to be able to promote herself. And so that's what you're going to get when you come to this event. You'll get a 15-minute photo session with me. We'll take your photos. You can bring 2 outfits. You can swap real quick into something else. You can do something casual. You can do something business. Bring something that makes you feel excited when you see it. Everything in your closet should make you feel happy. If it doesn't make you feel happy, get rid of it. If you look at it and you start to get sad, or you're like, oh, I don't think I can fit it, get rid of it, because you want to be in the best mental space possible. And if you look at something and it makes you feel bad, then you're going to be giving me bad vibes, and I don't need them in 2026.
Amen to that. Oh, we clocking, honey, because no bad vibes over
No
here.
bad vibes.
No bad vibes over here. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to take a pause for the cause and acknowledge some more audience members. My grandbaby Sophia is tuning in with
Oh,
Casey. Hi, beautiful. I miss you
guys.
all. Smooches. And they did the family portraits that when y'all saw that infomercial, that was my granddaughter and my son and my daughter in love in the
Yay.
photo. So y'all make sure that you solicit this business support, right? Oh, so here's
Thank
what
you.
I wanted to talk about real quick,
Yes.
because I've got multi-platform audiences.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
not too late to register for
Yes, ma'am.
headshots and handshakes.
Nope.
And our bigger vision, outside of it just being a networking event, to Joy's point, is the collaboration, right? So who shows up in the room? So we already had over a dozen people registered for the date this past week. So now we've got time to bring even more people into the fold. Look, now they got their tax return money, so ain't no
Come on
excuses that
now.
they can't afford to be taking care of business like a
Mhm.
business, and
Yeah.
come with those updated headshots, including yours truly, now that I'm letting all natural come
Yes. Come
on
on, Gray.
through.
It looks
Yes,
beautiful.
thank you. And so this is what my ask is. This is an official call to action. Tag your makeup artist.
Yes, ma'am.
Tag your hairdresser and tell them you're going to a networking event where they may find an opportunity to do someone's makeup in the room, to do
Mhm.
your makeup in the room, and then extend that offering to all of the guests that show up. They may not need a full face beat, right? They may just want some lash extensions. They may
Mhm.
just want a little retouch, a little glossified or something. Yes,
Mhm. Yeah, pat
little lip
down.
oil.
A little
And
little pat pat.
exactly. So this is what I would
Mhm.
like for y'all to do. Tag a makeup artist in this stream and tell
Mhm.
them Bree and Joy would love to collaborate with them. Tag a hairstylist in the stream. Tell them Bree and Joy would like to collaborate with them. And here we go. Entrepreneurs, you need to be in the building and bring your business bestie. Joy, tell the
Exactly.
people how we do it.
Exactly. I was gonna say, look, I would say it could be a buy one get one, but you know what? If you're not willing to invest $75 in your visits, then I don't know what to tell you. But
Amen.
I will say that I do know two other women that have already signed up. My therapist. Thank God for her, girl. Ooh, come on, Dr. Tori. Thank you for Dr. Thank you for Dr. Tori and her bestie Sabrina. Sure.
Sybil
Sybil.
Slade.
Lord, I was about to say Cheryl. I'm thinking about my daughter's grandmother, and then I was about to say Sabrina, but she is going to bring her bestie as well too, because this is the other thing. I specifically know that they're coming, so they're gonna get photos together as well too. So I'm going to take photos of Dr. Tori. I'm going to take photos of Sybil, and then I'll take a couple photos of them together. So if you do have a business partner, you do have something that you guys are in the works in together. Make sure that both of y'all are there so that y'all can take advantage of that. Look, I don't live in Atlanta anymore. Sabrina has announced that I am in for Hampton, Virginia. So if you trying to come up on a Joy Pearson photography headshot, you are going to have to be in the building on the 22nd of February. And that's
How
all I
about
need
that?
to say about that. Other than that, you'll have to catch me the next time I'm in town if I bring my camera. So, and guess what? I will say that it will not be $75. And
Amen.
and Sabrina, I don't know if you know this, but shout out to Dwayne Ross because he turned me on to this. Uh, you can actually, if you're on Airbnb, you can sign up for services now. So my business is actually a service on Airbnb. I just had someone reach out to me. They have a house in Chesapeake that they want me to do some real estate photos for. So if you own a business, you own a service, get on get on Airbnb and offer your service. You got to do it from the website. You can't do it from your phone, but go up there and apply so that if somebody comes in town and they need a makeup artist, somebody comes in town and they need their hair done, or whatever service it is that you offer, that you can make sure that you can help them.
Oh, I love that so much. And ladies and gentlemen, like Joy said, Joy Pearson photographer is coming all the way from Hampton, Virginia to the ATL on Sunday, February 22nd,
Mhm.
noon to 4:30
Yes,
p.m.
ma'am.
Tickets are available. Here's the thing. It's free to be in the building and show up and network. There
Mhm.
is a fee for the headshots. Okay. So we will be serving light bites and doing a little bit of politicking. I
Mhm.
want everybody to bring those business cards, those digital business cards with
QR
your QR
code.
codes. I want y'all to show up with your products, bring your books, bring all of them, all of them, all of them.
Look, bring your books, bring your joystick stuff. Look, because this is one of the other things that and me and you didn't even talk about this, Sabrina. But one of the other things that's great about what we're doing with this event, outside of you being able to get an amazing headshot, we are offering you a platform for you to be able to network with like-minded people. If they're in the building on that Sunday, the 22nd, they are entrepreneurs. They do want to level up their business. They might be looking for someone that can help them get life insurance. So, at the end of the day, sitting at home is not going to help you level up your business. You are going to have to be very strategic in 2026 when it comes to going to some of these networking events. And
Yeah.
whether or not it's something, small and intimate, like what me and Sabrina are doing, or whether or not it's something large, like a conference, if you are serious about growing your business in 2026, you are going to have to get up out of your house, put that business suit on, put that blazer on, put them heels or them flats on, and you are going to have to network.
There it is.
Because one of the number one things that I know is that the beautiful thing is if you can set up these groups of people that can help you before you even need their help, if you could serve your community, if you can do things where people are remembering you after you've left the room, then later on they're gonna be like, you know what? I do need a real estate agent. Man, I wonder what was that girl's name? Sabrina. Okay, I do need life insurance. You know what? Let me call Kenya Johnson. I do need a guy to come speak on my panel. Let me call Dwayne Ross or Elam King. You have to be able to be visual. And one of the things that I had not been in such a long time, and I'm thankful for you, Sabrina, for inviting me to come on to your show tonight, is I just haven't been in the mental space to want to be visual. I've I mentioned I'm going through a lot. I'm dealing with a lot. I know that I'm on the other side of dealing with it, but every once in a while, I just have these moments where I get in my head and I get in my feelings, and and I don't necessarily want to put myself out there. In those moments, even me, I know that I have to pop myself on the hand, because what God is asking me to do moving forward, I'm going to have to get out there. I am going to have to speak. I'm going to have to use my voice. I am not going to be able to be silent. And it's really simple. For you to be able to grow your business, you're going to have to be more visual. Where'd she go? Sabrina? She back there somewhere, guys.
Here we go. I'm back.
What's gonna be like? And so next on Geek Talk podcast, we
That's
are
right. So this is so important. Okay, so what I was trying to do was get the comment up, right?
Yes.
So that's what I was doing in the background.
Oh, okay.
So there's lesson number 3 for the geeks. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
my geek squad giving entrepreneurs expert knowledge tonight. And Joy's point is all about networking. And as an entrepreneur, when you do go into your silos and you go underground and you want to hibernate, the people are still waiting on what you're sitting on. Joy, I've missed you. I've missed you dearly. We used to be in these streets with the people, and they miss us.
Yeah.
Collective. And I talked about that on episode 1 with Kenyatta Powers Rucker. Shout out to my other collaborator. About the buy-in, the community buy-in, and why we can't seem to get back to that. People don't want to connect anymore. And that's a problem for those of us that do need and like those connections. But even more importantly, I've got the proof to tell y'all. Every time I show up in front of a room, I've got a keynote speech, I'm teaching a class, my audience grows because I've shown up. All I had to do was walk in the room. The people are thrilled to connect with me, ask real questions, do a deep dive, have a hug, have that conversation. And that's what's important. That's important. So lesson number 3, y'all, your network determines your net worth. So let's get out there and do some networking. All right. So, Joy,
I'm over here taking notes. Hold up.
taking notes. And that's why we've got the replay, y'all. So we are going to have this podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts so that you can listen to the audio, whatever parts you miss. Hit fast forward, hit rewind, get those gems, get all that information and those resources.
Yeah.
And I want to do another pivot because what I'd like for you to talk about is the invention of the joystick. I can just remember us doing our Cornell Women's Entrepreneurship Certification together
Mhm,
back
mhm,
in 2020 and how
mhm,
much time we spent behind the scenes writing our vision and making it plain.
mm, mm, mm.
Joy, tell the people, how'd you birth that joystick?
So I didn't mention that in 20, I think if I'm not mistaken, and me and Michael go back and forth, I think that we actually started our radio show, Michael and Joy in the Morning, in 2016. When we started the show, we were strictly on Sensation Station Network. At the time, it was just radio, but it was online radio. So it wasn't like you were going to turn the dial and hear us. And so at the time, we might have done maybe a month worth of shows, and Periscope dropped. And so as we were recording our shows, or as we were doing our shows Monday through Friday from 7 to 9 a.m., this was live in person every day, Monday through Friday. And as we were recording, I was holding my phone the whole time on Periscope. And 2 hours of holding a phone is nothing anyone ever wants to sign up to do, let alone, 5 minutes, let alone 2 hours. And so while I was holding my phone, Periscope came out. In my mind, I was sitting there thinking, like, what can I create so that I don't have to do this for 2 hours? And so, being a photographer, I knew about a light stand, and I just started playing around with some things. When you look at the very first joystick, it's a light stand. It's a selfie stick at the top because, for women, our angle, we look better from up here than we do from down there. And so I had a selfie stick on the top. I had the stand. And then I just kept playing around with these little contraptions or clamps so that you could hold the phone. One day we had a guest come on and ask where they can buy it. Me and Michael looked at each other like, cha-ching. And I said to them, give me a couple days. And by Monday, I had a joystick ready for purchase. And that was the birth of it. Riding home that day, me and Michael both called each other almost at the same exact time. And he had looked up joystick, the domain name. So this is another nugget. If you're planning on starting a business, go get your domain name. I already own Sila Joy Stokes and Brenton Brooks for them because I know that they're going to do something great at some point. They're going to continue to do something great. Let me take that back because they've already done some pretty great stuff. They're going to continue to do something great, and I want them to, I want them to have that for whenever they're ready. But needless to say, I went and I looked up joystick, Joistick. They wanted $40,000. I said, no, ma'am. And I happened to talk to Brenton's dad, Vishon, and he said, well, what if you took the C out? And so there comes joystick, Joi, like my name, and Stick. Thankfully, he also created my logo. One of my best friends, Kenny, helped me draw the design so that I could put in for my non-provisional patent. And I ended up trademarking the logo as well too. And so here is one of our baby phone stands that I give away. You can purchase them as well too. You just sit your phone in here while it's sitting on your desk at a restaurant, on the airplane, so that you don't have to prop your your phone up against, a glass or anything random. But they're so cute, they're so easy, and as of right now, I have about 20 products because I wanted to be able to be a one-stop shop. I did not want you to have to go purchase a joystick, then have to go buy microphones or go buy lights or go buy anything else. And so I actually have some creator packages as well, too, content creator packages. Sabrina is one of my greatest. When I say greatest, she is one of my greatest salesmen. And her promo code is RE Tech Boss. If you go to itsjoi.com, you can use her promo code and you could get a discount off of anything over $50, which everything is over $50. I mean, the majority of the larger items are over $50. So if you want to invest in your business, if you want to start doing more video, if you want to start doing more live streams, and you do not want to have to hire a camera crew, please make sure that you go to itsjoi.com. You want to say hi?
Hi, Sila. How you doing, gorgeous?
What's wrong? You hurt
Good
your
to
eye?
see you. I'm going to take a pause for the cause and give some shout outs to our audience tonight. Hello, Kenya Johnson. We just talked about you, sis. And thank you so much for tuning into Geek Talk this evening. We surely appreciate your support. And listen, y'all, the geek tip of the day was dropped. Buy that domain name, okay? It is a business asset. So I've even taught my children that as part of my legacy, all of my digital assets are valuable. Do not just give anything away. And if I happen to use GoDaddy for my domain, it will show you the value of your domain name, which I'm sure any other platform that is hosting your website will do for you. But it took me years to own my name, SabrinaLowery.com, y'all. That website belonged to someone I will not even describe what kind of hateful things was going on with that. But needless to say, once I was able to purchase my domain, I put that multi-year purchase on that thing so that it will never go away, right? So I want everyone to just remember that geek tip of the day, that your domain name is a part of your legacy. That is a digital asset for your business. So I need y'all to act accordingly, Geek Squad. You know we're giving entrepreneurs expert knowledge up in here, right? Perfect, perfect, perfect. So, Joy, we have just a few minutes left, and I would love for us to just talk to the audience and give them whatever last minute nugget you would like for them to have. And before you go, share with the people what you have coming in the horizon and what you aspire to do in 2026. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Sabrina. Again, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to come on, to be able to share, to be able to talk with not just my community, but also your community as well, too. Right now, we are looking to do some book signings. I actually am in talks with a couple. Nothing like a red lip, y'all, and a grown 5-year-old, huh? Okay. I am in talks with doing some book signings, not just in Atlanta, but also in Richmond and in Northern. No. You don't need no more. You don't need any more. Some book signings in Northern Virginia, Richmond, and also in Atlanta. I think one of the, again.
How about this one?
No. No more. No more. Give me 5 minutes.
Okay.
Say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye.
All right. Okay.
I want to see what this is.
Okay. All right.
And
We'll
that.
take it with you.
I
Okay.
want to see what that is.
No. You know what this is because you just put it on your lips. You not slick. Go ahead. Let me finish. 5 minutes. Thank you. So the book signings, I definitely want people to make sure I do have the book on my website. I also have the book on Amazon. But I really, when 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 I'm talking about this book, and the reason why I'm really wanting to make sure that I really get it in your head is because it's hard to create legacy when you don't know where you come from. So if you guys have not been able to document your parents or your grandparents' journey, then you'll never be able to properly share it with the next generations. And so it's hard to talk about legacy when all you really know is your last name. Oh, I can pass my last name on to my children, but I don't necessarily know what my grandparents did or what my, great grandparents did. And so I want to make sure there's a chapter in here that gives you a list of questions that you can ask your family members. If they don't want to be on video, just record their voice so that your family members and your children can hear their voice explaining their story from their lips to their ears. So that's the number one thing that I'm focusing on is this book. I have quite a few other collaborations that are coming up. Not necessarily sure whether or not I'm going to drop all the details just yet. Me and a gentleman are still in works. He asked me to do something maybe about 5 years ago. I wasn't necessarily ready at the time to write the book, though I do believe that I'm ready now. And so I am excited about it. Until we finish figuring out all the details, I'm going to hold off on sharing that. But I do have another children's book coming. I have a travel business that I am working with. I have a girlfriend of mine that is very, very knowledgeable about life insurance. And that is one of the things that I don't believe that we pay attention to enough. Life insurance. She also talks about the disability insurance. As we get older, you never know necessarily what's going to happen to you physically. And so you just want to make sure that you're setting yourself up. And I think the reason why we have to continue to have the conversation more than once is because a lot of times we might not like the messenger that's sharing the message, or we might not be in that mind frame of thinking about talking about life insurance policies for us because, I'm physically fit, I feel great, and then something happens and now you need it, and it's a catch-22. So if you can jump on these items ahead of time, there are things in life that, again, are inevitable. We know that we were born to at some point die. So let's not be afraid of what that looks like. Let's take some of the burden off of our family members. Let's take some of the burden off of our children. Truth be told, I'm super thankful for my great grandparents. I don't know much about them, but I know that I have land in the Philippines that I am going to go claim.
How about that?
I know that we have quite a few acres, and we have some property over there that I'm really excited about. And even if I don't do anything with it, I have children that might want to do something with it. I have a niece and a nephew that loves to play sports and soccer. What if they were, on the team in the Philippines, and now they have somewhere to live because that's where their family is from. So, I just want us to stop just thinking about the right now. I want us to do a little planning. I want us to think ahead. Because again, you can't think about legacy if you're not preparing for leaving the legacy. The fact that I started a publishing company, not even to publish anybody else's books. And I started a publishing company because I knew that at the end of the day, I had something that I needed to get off my chest. But at the same time, I wanted my children to be set up.
Yeah.
They say that you do better when you know better. So why aren't we doing better?
Yeah.
we all know better. The information is out there. So what? So where are we falling short at? And wherever it is for you, figure it out and get ahead of it
Yeah.
so that it doesn't take you and your family out. It's nothing wrong with people, needing to get a loan, or start a GoFundMe for, uh certain things like funerals and when someone passes away. But why are we still doing that when we know that again, at some point it's going to happen?
Yeah.
You don't necessarily have to get a policy for $100,000. A funeral, when we buried my mother, her funeral was about $8,000. So at the end of the day, if I had a policy for at least 10, at least I know that I don't have to be knocking on people's doors asking them to contribute to me burying my mother. Like, or you burying your mother, or your father, or your loved one, or whoever it is. Just do your due diligence and make sure that you know exactly how they want to go. That was
Yeah.
another conversation, and that's something else that's in the book. Is you want to plan for them so that they're being recognized and they're being honored. It's not my wishes for how I want my mom's funeral to be. It's what my mom asked for. And in her passing, we were able to do that. And one of the things I think is cute, my mom was cremated. So we got all of the urns. She picked out her urn on Amazon, and she picked out these necklaces. Her birthstone was an emerald, and so this actually has some of her ashes in it. And so
Mhm.
she picked out some necklaces for the women, and then there are also something for her grandkids. So I mean, we thought about all of the smaller details, but again, you don't want to be trying to grieve and think about those details at the same time, because in that moment you're a mess.
You are so right, Joy. Thank you. All I can say is thank you for being here, for showing up for you and your people. Your audience is waiting on what you sitting on, sis.
I know it's a lot too.
Just tell them it's coming. It's coming. It's
Look, and
coming.
I'm excited about it, and I think that I've never heard it broken down that way. So
Yeah.
thank you, for making sure that you shared what Dr. Cheryl Wood said, because it's not just what I'm sitting on. It's everybody that's hearing our voice.
Yeah.
My homeboy Larry Brunson and I went to high school together. Larry, they're waiting for what you sitting on. You know, so
That part.
if you hear me say it, it could be a call to action for you as well too.
Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope your cup runneth over. This has been a super special edition of Geek Talk, where we give entrepreneurs expert knowledge. I would love for you to stay connected with my very special guest and my sister friend, Joy Pearson. Go to itsjoy.com. Don't forget that if you are purchasing any of the joystick products, use the promo code RETECHBOSS for your discount and support a Black owned, woman owned business. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an awesome, awesome conversation. We have just a few sponsored messages at the end. Thank you for tuning in. Next week, we have Dr. Daniela Peel Hunter as our featured guest on the podcast with a very, very important wellness conversation. So she'll be bringing in that lifestyle and that health and wellness segment and topic of conversation. We don't want you to miss it. And if you want to tune in on the replays, be sure to tune in to Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. My YouTube channel is always available for you all to subscribe. Let me drop that in the ticker. Go to Sabrina Lowery, RE Tech on YouTube. be sure to hit subscribe, turn on those notifications so that every Tuesday at 7:30, you know to tune in to the Geek Talk Show with yours truly, where we're going to give you some expert knowledge. Joy, thank you, sis.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. I definitely appreciate you allowing me the ability to be able to come on. I've totally enjoyed this conversation. Thank you to all of our guests who have come in and commented and put notes in the live stream so that people can go back and take notes. Thank you for everyone. I was on my Instagram as well too. So shout out to Instagram. Shout out to being live on multiple platforms.
Oh, yes. And shout out to the joystick that is bringing the Instagram audience into the stream tonight. So
Look,
the
look, I got mine
scenes,
too.
yes, the behind the scenes action. I want everybody on IG. Make sure you see the full episode with Joy so you can catch that vibe, catch her energy, see her beauty, and support her business. Okay. It's joy.com. All right, Joy. I appreciate
All right, love you.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, see you on the 22nd.
I will see you. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
Take care.
Love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here this evening. As you can see, this conversation was long overdue. We had to serve you, the people. And so I want to just share with you one more time Joy's information so that you can support her. And when we complete the broadcast, you will see just a few digital ads so that you can remember those dates that we mentioned for you to save. And let me not forget to talk about the upcoming Digital Confidence and AI Skills series that is going live on Monday at 11:30, kicking off the month of February with all things tech. As you all know, every year I put together a masterclass series, and this year is no different. My Build Your Business Like a Boss, that acronym stands for a business owner selling services. And I will be teaching all of the AI tools. I will be showing you how to get those advanced master prompts in your Chat GPT, Claude, Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot, Nano Banana, and so much more. And not to mention, if you scan that QR code, you will be able to participate in the virtual series. Okay. So that virtual workshop is coming to you live. Register on my website, sabrinalowery.com. Be sure that you show up for yourself, right? Because I'm showing up for you. So this will be a little bit of a group simulation type of masterclass where we will all be diving into our individual businesses collectively. And part one is going to be auditing your Google business profile, because if you have not noticed, there are quite a few changes that I want everyone to take advantage of. So there is on the YouTube, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, there's the flyer with the QR code that you can scan so that you can have a seat in the virtual room. All right. Thank you for that. And I also want to close us out with the bookstore. Ladies and gentlemen, as Joy mentioned, the book launch, Ladies in Tech and Friends, Volume 4, Building Careers Not Meant for Us. This anthology is part of the Ladies in Tech series. I have been a part of all 3 volumes, Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. But this edition is extra special because I am honored to be your forward author. There are 25 phenomenal authors in this book anthology, and we are talking about those non traditional roles that women have to build for themselves in these careers that are predominantly male dominated. So, we want you to support us. Get your copy of the book at sabrinalowery.com and just show your support for the ladies in tech. If you have any questions about the book, connect with me. My email is helpdesk@sabrinalowery.com. And I can't wait to see you in Towson, Maryland on March 21st at noon. And that is going to be Kenyatta Powers Rucker, our visionary author and host. And so you can connect on her website for the tickets, kenyattapowersrucker.com. I am so excited, as you can tell, to be bringing yet another story to life. Ladies and gentlemen, there is the anthology series package, volumes 1, 2, and 3. I do have a book bundle with a nice promotion in my shop when you go to sabrinalowery.com, where you can get all 3 volumes and pre-order for volume 4. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Geek Talk, and we are brought to you today by Legacy Realty and Management LLC, a full service boutique brokerage and property management company specializing in leasing, property management, and short term rentals, Airbnb, and corporate executive housing. If you need assistance with your housing needs, don't hesitate to go to Legacy Realty and Management.com for your housing search today. It would be my honor to be your realtor. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. This concludes tonight's episode of Geek Talk. My name is Sabrina Lowery, affectionately known as the Tech Evangelist, and I'll see you next time. Have a great night.